This live stream brought to you by the Excelsior Citizen and these generous sponsors. The Simmons Sales Team, your hometown realtors. Our Excelsior Springs Hospital, where better care is right in your backyard.
Whether we're talking about our dedication to preventing and restoring power outages, our pursuit of safety, or providing the best member experience possible, we are relentless in serving our communities.
Since 1974, Chuck Anderson Ford has proudly served the community's automotive needs. From new and pre-owned vehicles to parts and service, they've been there in the past and they'll be there in the future. Visit Chuck Anderson Ford today. Find out how you can advertise with Excelsior Springs' #1 community resource. Visit ExcelsiorCitizen.com today.
Consider it a special session. Okay, we'll go with special session to order. It is 17:33 on December the 8th. And voting will be by Mike Bordeaux. Thank you for being here, sir.
You're welcome. So Lord, we just want to take a moment out of our day, a moment at the beginning of this week, Lord, just to ask you to fill us with your wisdom and your leadership and your guidance. Lord, and I ask that the men and women in this room and those that are listening, that the favor of God would be upon them. Lord, that your favor would flow to our community, Lord Jesus. Father, we just want to take a moment to tell you thank you for the way you blessed us. God, we want to take a moment to ask you please to protect us and watch over us. And Lord, we'll be sure to give you all the glory and honor in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Janet, roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern?
Present.
Councilman Rennie?
Yes.
Councilman Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John?
Yes.
Mayor Spawn?
Okay, at this time, do we have any visitors that would like to address?
Can I say something? Just
Please.
1 second. I had talked to Mark about this. Not sure who's going to be the mayor. And but the mayor's prayer breakfast is going to be scheduled for the first Thursday in May. I think it's, what is it, May 7th or 8th, whichever it is, but it's already scheduled at the Elms. I got to work on it way ahead of time, but I'd like you guys to have it on your schedule. And ladies, if you could, I think we're going to have a good speaker. I'm starting to track one down right now. Somebody I don't know, but we'll see where it goes. But thank you, Reggie, for letting me say something.
May 7th.
Thanks.
Yeah. When you say track one down, it sounds like you're hunting game somewhere. So.
You got to understand what I do. I make them come down. No, it's somebody I don't know, so I like to at least find out a little bit more about them. So
I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike.
All right.
Okay. This time we will address the minutes of November the 14th, special council meeting, November 14th. Need to approve those.
I move that we approve the special city council meeting of November 14th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Also need a motion for minutes of regular city council meeting November 17th, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting of November 17th, 2025.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Those motions carry. Okay. Next up is consideration of awarding a cleaning contract.
It's consideration of agenda.
Okay, sorry, thank you. Okay. Yes, consideration of agenda. Need
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Okay, item number 1 on the agenda is consideration of awarding the 2026 Hollow Waters Cleaning Services Contract, Resolution 1626. And Shannon?
Before you is we conducted the RFP process for cleaning in the Hollow Waters. We opened it on November 10th. We have 2 proposals submitted. The first one was Mayday Cleaning, which they are our current company. They're the low bidder at $16,620. The other bidder was Pamela Sue Friedman, and hers was $18,360. The contract is still the same, and we are recommending that for beginning January 2nd and ending December 31st of 26, that Mayday Cleaning continue to do our cleaning and win the contract. There's a resolution attached.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, before council is a resolution 1626, a resolution awarding the 2026 Hollow Waters Cleaning Services contract to Mayday Cleaning LLC.
I move we approve resolution number 1626, consideration of awarding 2026 Hollow Waters Cleaning Service contract.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 2 on our agenda is consideration of engagement agreement with, is it Forbes Mazars?
Mazar.
Mazars, okay.
Mhm.
LLP, Resolution 1627. And Vonda Floyd will present.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Missouri law requires that every general purpose government have an annual fiscal year audit. So annual audits are primarily to ensure transparency, accountability, and proper use of taxpayer funds. With the completed final audit, the results are presented to Council and filed with the State Auditor's Office for compliance. Audits are a crucial part of good governance, ensuring Excelsior Springs citizens and Council that we are responsible stewards of public resources. Fiscal year 2023 will be the 3rd audit for Forbes Mazars that Forbes Mazars has conducted with the City of Excelsior Springs. Audit staff has been in the preparation stage for the prior 2 weeks and will be on site tomorrow to start their engagement. They have assigned staff personnel to the City of Excelsior until the end of this year. So we are hard on it. We hope to be done. I respectfully ask for your approval to move forward with this engagement for Forbes Mazar LLPs and this annual audit.
Any questions?
I make a motion to approve resolution 1627, consideration of engagement agreement with Forbes Mazars.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 3 for the council is consideration of amendment to the municipal code regarding motor vehicle sales and other related land uses, ordinance number 25, TAC 12, TAC 1.
Yes, thank you, Council. So before you is a zoning text amendment that would change the zoning code and move motor vehicle sales, both new and used, as well as fuel sales from the permitted uses in C2, and move new auto sales and fuel sales to C3, and then allow used auto sales in C3 and M1 with the approval of a special use permit. This would not impact any currently existing business within the city, so it would not create any conformities or issues like that. It would just move some heavier sort of commercial uses to areas that are more suited to that use. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of this as a zoning text amendment. I'm happy to answer any questions y'all might have.
Did I see where this is specific to the downtown area, or is it?
Well, so as a matter of practicality, C2, aside from the Masonic property that you all approved a couple weeks ago, all of the C2 zoning districts or zoning properties that are zoned C2 are downtown. So essentially, if you think about, would a a new automotive sales lot fit with the character of downtown? I don't think so. And that's kind of what this is about, is making sure that those, like a gas station or like an auto sales is in C3, which is intended for heavier uses. And this does, other cities in our area also have those uses in C3 rather than C2. So this would, but yeah, so it just as a matter of practicality, C2 is downtown essentially.
So you said it wouldn't impact existing, but if an existing wanted to expand, or if you had a change in ownership, can you comment on what that would look like?
So that wouldn't, what I mean by it doesn't impact any existing is that all auto lots and fuel sales are currently in C3. There are none operating in C2.
Okay.
So that it wouldn't impact anybody now or moving forward that is currently.
So there's no existing business today that would need to be grandfathered under
Correct.
this change?
Correct.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Other questions?
Does that include car repair as well?
So car repair is not included in this. So anything that regards auto repair is remaining the same.
I'm thinking of the property on the corner of, would it be St. Louis Avenue and Isley, or St. Louis Avenue and the end of Elmsville?
They're not in the C2 zoning district, and auto repair is a separate listed
It's
permitted
not
use.
currently being used, but it had been
Yeah.
used. As
Yeah, so that isn't C2, that's C3 currently, and like Mallory said, it's not, auto repair is not being impacted by this.
Okay.
Good. Okay, before us we have ordinance 25, TAC 12, TAC 1, and ordinance for the city of Excelsior Springs, Missouri, amending Title 4, Chapter 400 of the Code of Ordinances regarding motor vehicle sales and other related issues. Motion to take to a second reading.
I move we take ordinance number 25-12-01, consideration of amendment to the municipal code regarding motor vehicle sales and other related land uses, to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please, Shannon.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Ordinance number 25, TAC 12, TAC 1, an ordinance of the city of Excelsior Springs, Missouri, amending Title 4, Chapter 400 of the Code of Ordinance regarding motor vehicle sales and other related issues. Accept a motion for approval.
I move that we approve ordinance number 25-12-01, consideration of amendment to the municipal code regarding motor vehicle sales and other related land uses.
Second.
Please.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Okay, item number 4 is, pull this up real quick. Okay, is ordinance number 25, TAC 12, TAC 2, and ordinance amending the city code by adding regulations governing the temporary use of property as an overnight warming center. Also, Joshua?
Yes, so this is another zoning text amendment that just adds regulations and definitions for overnight warming centers for when the weather is very cold. In the past, there have been some people, I think particularly churches, that have operated overnight warming centers, and this just permits that by right in C3 zoning districts as long as they follow the regulations. And this would establish a process to work with the Community Development Department, Fire Department, Police Department to ensure that these places are up to code and have all life safety issues addressed prior to operating. And then just establishes a process to operate when the weather gets cold. I'm happy to answer any questions. Oh, I guess I should say the Planning Commission also recommended you approve this. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, gentlemen? Okay. Ordinance 25, TAC 12, TAC 2, an ordinance amending the city code by adding regulations governing a temporary use of property as an overnight warming center. Looking for a motion to take it to a second reading.
I move we take ordinance number 25-12-02, consideration of amendment to the municipal code for adding regulations governing temporary use of property as overnight warming center to second reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Ordinance 25, TAC 12, TAC 02, an ordinance amending the city code by adding regulations governing the temporary use of property as an overnight warming center. Looking for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 25-12-02, consideration of amendment to the municipal code by adding regulations governing temporary use of property as overnight warming center.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Rennie,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McGovern.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John.
Yes. Item number 5 is also an ordinance 25, TAC 12, TAC 3, a consideration of amendment to the municipal code by adding definition for sober living facility and establishing standards for registration, separation, and enforcement.
Yes, once again, this is a zoning text amendment. The title there is pretty straightforward. This just adds a section of the code defining sober living facilities, and establishing what those are and where they're allowed, as well as adding a separation between how close they can operate, and then measures for enforcing the code should there be any issues that arise. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of this one as well. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Open to amendment for taking a second reading.
I move that we take ordinance number 25-12-03, consideration of amendment to the municipal code by adding definitions for sober living facility and establishing standards for registration, separation, and enforcement to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Rennie?
Yes.
Councilman Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John?
Yes. Ordinance 25, TAC 12, TAC 3, consideration of amendment to the municipal code by adding definition for sober living facility and establishing standards for registration, separation, and enforcement. Open to a motion to approve.
I move we approve ordinance number 25-12-03, consideration of amendment to the municipal code by adding definition for sober living facility and establishing standards for registration, separation, and enforcement.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Rennie?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Spear?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem St. John?
Yes. Okay, that concludes our business, and we will move on to remarks.
I have nothing this evening.
Okay. Councilman Rennie.
I hope everyone had a good and safe holiday, and again, I encourage everyone to enjoy the season.
Councilwoman McGovern.
I see there's a young man in the back of the room next to the fire chief. I don't know if he's with the fire chief or whether he wants to introduce him or not. I didn't mean to embarrass him. Or the fire chief.
I told him to keep his mouth shut.
Good job.
I should do the same. I've got nothing else.
Councilman Spear.
Well, I know Chad's not here, but I just wanted to give a shout out to all the public works with one of our earliest snows, substantial snows, and they just did a fantastic job of getting out and getting things done, and was, from what I understand, well ahead of MoDOT in that regard. So
We're in hopes that it follows the fable that if it snows on the 1st, there will be only one snow. So we'll see.
we shall see.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, we're hoping.
And I've got two things. One is folks that have been around for a while. Brad Smith, 38 years as Assistant Fire Chief, and Joe Maddock, 31 years. Thank you for your service. And Nate Williams was 10 years with the Excelsior Parks and Rec. And Friday, I got to spend several hours with our friends in the emergency room. The folks there took really good care of me. So it came down to a broken rib is what it came down to.
Ouch.
So yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah, well, they were worried about a collapsed lung.
So you're take the rib over
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah. So I do appreciate the care that was given, and very professional, and they brought up things I hadn't thought about, but they're smarter than I am, so which is good. So, okay. With that, looking for a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we need? Can I do we need a roll call?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
So moved.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay. We are
Recording
adjourned.
stopped.
So did your wife push you down the steps? Or?
Yeah, I wasn't going to throw that out there, but it's
Actually,
like,
it was well,
did the frying pan survive?
No, Monday, when the snow was cleaning off the driveway, and I went down, and I went hard enough to knock the wind out of me. And I didn't think much about it. My neighbor was out too, and he came over and helped me up. He said, "I'll finish it up." And I thought I was almost done. And I went 4 days and going, this is not getting any better.
Yeah.
So,
How are you, Lori?
I'm good.
oh, I forgot about this part.
Good. Just try to. watching.
Here, let's move the clock.
Mallory called this meeting and then she
Didn't
left.
leave, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna see, could somebody explain to our viewers at home what's going on exactly? Like,
A
sense of-
joint city council.
Right. So just
planning
before we
and
get,
zoning.
yeah, before we get rolling.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to do anything with you,
So we are here today in a council work session with the planning commission. It is not a official council meeting, but a work session. And we will be given an update on the comprehensive plan that the city has been working on for the last year, I would say. We are very close to finishing the comprehensive plan, and so this is a good update for both the planning commission and the city council.
Mallory's in the hallway searching for the star of the show.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Oh, always interesting.
Yeah. Seem to have lost a consultant. She'll be here shortly. So you all warm by the heat?
Yeah, I may move that way.
Because this is in front of the door and I don't even feel it.
Every once in a while, I felt a little bit of a breeze, but not very much.
Yeah.
It's just the door's open. Yes, that opens up under the roof. It's full warm.
Yeah, Mike and I are what we do is we open the window until it gets too cold and it warms up again, and then we open the window and it just repeats all day.
It sounds like my old truck. The heat is either on or off.
Yeah.
She forgot something in her car, so she'll be.
Okay.
Okay, so does anybody sing, dance, magic tricks?
Josh, I think that's you.
I don't know any magic.
But you sing?
If we had a guitar, I could maybe play a tune.
That's
or
right.
something.
Boy, when you need a guitar, there's never one around.
That's true.
Do you play guitar?
I do play guitar. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not very good, but I do play.
now, are you
A city band.
kind of folk, or are you kind of, we're talking Jimi Hendrix here?
A good guitar
Maybe
player
kazoo.
does it all, and I try to be well-rounded.
Well, I play keys.
Oh, nice.
Keys and drums.
Everybody always needs a drummer, so.
Not ideal. I'm trying to get my kids food. So sorry.
Hey, howdy.
So I've introduced the subject of the meeting.
Okay, great.
Because we're live.
Okay, perfect. I apologize for
No problem.
my delay. Not ideal this evening of navigating this and children's food downstairs.
Yes.
So I apologize.
No problem.
How are you all this evening?
Spiffy.
Very well.
Awesome.
Very shabby.
Too bad.
The boilers are nervous.
I think he's just trying to be a part of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did mention.
Percussive
Kind
instruments.
of like a metronome, but
Yeah.
a variable metronome.
Right.
Rhythm section is out of rhythm.
So it's speeding up.
Yeah.
And if you can't get that pulled up, I will absolutely just speak from what I know is in my presentation, and then I can email it to you all later. It's not a problem at all. Yeah, that radiator's not happy right now. Is it doing that all night?
No, it
No?
just started.
Just started. I brought in the bad luck for you.
I think it was jazz.
Yeah.
Jazz drummer all over the place.
Hey, all right.
Look at that.
To be turned on.
Oh.
No.
It's the ghost.
That's actually a line from Elf, you know, where boilers rap. He calls it.
It's all right. I can. Not a problem. I'm happy to wing it. So, as Molly had mentioned, she's introduced the subject. So, really, for those of you that may need a refresher, or anyone in this room that's not aware, I'm Shelby Ferguson with Olson, and so we've been working very closely with you all and city staff just on the comprehensive planning effort. And so one of my slides was really to kind of walk you through the timeline. So we have been working on this since about the summer of 24, and we're really ready to wrap the full piece of it up and provide you all the final document here shortly to really come before you all and Planning Commission for adoption. But throughout that time period, we've done several events in terms of engagement. We formed a stakeholder group and committee, which we engaged along with what we called a technical committee. And so those individuals worked with us through 3 different stages of the process, just really giving us guided feedback on everything from the vision to really the recommendations themselves. And then we just met with them last month, bringing before them the recommendations all finalized and getting their feedback in terms of the goals and the strategies that we're presenting. And so then in addition to engaging those individuals, we also went out to the public. We participated in 2 pop-up events, one which was at Waterfest in the summer of 24, and then we also had right out here in the front of the Hall of Waters, we had a conversation on the lawn is what we called it. And so individuals just passing by along Broadway Street, we engaged them and asked them what their vision for the next 20 years was for Excelsior Springs and how they would really like to see your community grow and move forward. Other opportunities included a public open house following our charrette presentation, which was that large 2-day workshop you may recall that we had. And so then we welcomed members of the public to come in and participate in everything that our stakeholder group and our technical committee participated in. Then we put all that information online for a virtual open house and really allowed people to engage in that way. We also had a public survey that was open for several months. So through all of this engagement over the last 1.5 years, we've really been able to get an understanding of where Excelsior Springs wants to move forward. Some of the key highlights were that we understood that your community really wants to be pedestrian friendly, that you want to see improvements in terms of sidewalk infrastructure, close the gaps where there are areas that are disconnected, improve sidewalks where maintenance may need to take place. So looking at that connectivity piece within your community, really then starting to look at creating a vibrant and active community. And so we also, another piece that we engaged was we went to the high school and we engaged the youth through a workshop, a visioning workshop as well. And so one of the things we heard there, as well as continued throughout the engagement, was individuals want things to do within Excelsior Springs. They would like to be able to stay here and not have to go to Liberty or a surrounding community to really do recreational things, as well as just your typical neighborhood goods and services. Some of those larger big box retailers, sure, those may make sense in other communities, but really having just some of those pieces that really you don't have to drive 20 minutes down the highway for was really something that individuals really want to see your community grow and aspire to have. So then through that, what we've really done is we've put together a full plan. So it's broken up into 7 sections right now. The first section is an introduction. It really gives you the understanding of why did we do this process, how long did this process take, all of the pieces of really how to use the plan, how do you navigate it. And then section 2 is what we call, really it's the aspirational chapter. So it's really looking at the vision, the goals. And so we set together 4 core values, and those being specifically these right here. So I'll just hold this up for you all. I don't expect you to read every little bit of it, but really, who do we want to be? And so one of the key values is to be a vibrant community, and then which really this then focuses in on, apologies for that. So it says for Excelsior Springs to embrace its vibrant spirit, energizes the community life, downtown culture, and public spaces. So that's one of the key core values there. And then another one is for a community rising and thriving. And so this is where businesses and public spaces flourish. They're committed, the community's committed to having healthy and resilient and forward-thinking environment. And then holding yourselves accountable. So it says we are accountable. We are committed to a transparency, integrity, and responsible stewardship. Hold ourselves to be accountable for our residents, making informed decisions, and communicating openly. So having more transparency within your community, not only as leaders, but as city staff, as well as for the residents themselves. And then the last one is a connected community. So Excelsior Springs values just strong connections. And so this not only is personally, as individuals, as residents, as community members, but also looking at that connected piece. And so how do you move about your community and stay connected, not only relying on the vehicle, but also allowing pedestrians and other modes of transportation to be connected within Excelsior Springs. So that's the second section of the plan. And then, thank you, Mallory.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. The third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth sections are more illustrative recommendation sections. And so these really start to focus in on place types. And so what the place types does is really looks more at your land use. How do you grow? When and if a development application comes in, and across Mallory's desk, and for you all to look at and assess, what are those specific place types? How is that land used as those come in? When and if they should develop, when and if they should be redeveloped, or if it's your greenfield areas. What do those look like? So is it residential? Is it commercial? Is it industrial, etc.? So that's what section 3 looks at. Section 4 is that transportation and mobility. So again, looking at that connected piece. How do you, again, walk, bike, but also move about in your vehicle safely for all individuals within Excelsior Springs? And so within that section, that focuses there. Section 5 is the growth framework. So as you recall, we had Eric Lander within our team. He did the market and economic analysis. And so a big part that came from there was he was looking at the markets, what types of uses make most sense, so that correlates then to that section 3. And so that growth framework starts to really focus in on specific areas and how do you, what areas should be annexed, what areas should be considered for that when and if you choose to annex, and then what areas are prime for development or redevelopment. And so that's what that section 5 really focuses in on. And then section 6, as you recall at the charrette, we had our landscape architects as part of our team, and so they really started to draw up some conceptual ideas. And that's something to note as we look at these conceptual ideas, as we think about them in terms of being in the plan, they truly are concepts. So while something might be drawn in a specific location, it doesn't mean that that's exactly how it has to develop. That's exactly where every tree or every access, ingress, egress should be located. But it truly is idea generation. So what we did was we looked at 6 different sites and specifically looked at what are some ideas coming out of the economic and analysis report, as well as what we were hearing from the community, as well as from our stakeholder group. What are those key ideas coming out of those areas that could potentially happen? So it really starts to get the ideas flowing. So when, again, if Mallory has someone come in, or if Melinda has someone come in, a developer, and saying, we're wanting to really look at this parcel of land, they can say, well, we have a concept already for that area, and this is the direction we're thinking. How can we massage this more to really bring this concept from paper to life? And so a few of those areas, I have them with me and we can look at them, but a few of those areas specifically looked at the airport site and how do you start to potentially redevelop that. And so we really had that as more of an adventure oasis, an adventure resort. And so it mixes in the mountain bike plan that you currently have going on, and really starting to play with spaces and really looking at how can you make that whole area an attractive recreational space. Is it more soccer fields? Is it more baseball fields? In addition to, having some of those more destination related, go-karts or a pump track or things that people want to come and spend, 3-4 hours at. And then it would also potentially have some commercial in it or restaurants. So people are staying and having a destination to enjoy. Another location was along the Tracy Triangle area is what we called, and so looking at that area or near First Methodist, United First Methodist Church, along that area, looking at those potential areas as sort of intergenerational housing areas, because we did hear that there's a need for a variety of housing, attainable housing, and what does that look like? And that's not just in terms of price point, but it's also a variety of style of housing. So we looked at those areas and played a little bit with ideas of how do you have some mixed use, along Tracy area, and also incorporating in some residential apartments in that area. And then near the church area, we started to look at how do you start to have an intergenerational assisted living or some sort of aging in place types of homes with younger, potentially younger family or young professionals, all within the same space. And then again, incorporating into some of those areas walking trails and how do they move about and use these spaces. So that section 6 really focuses in on those idea concepts and how do you start to bring some of those areas to life when and if they're available and right for development. And then section 7 is really the action plan, the implementation chapter. So within sections 3 through 6, there are very distinct outlined goals and strategies. And so then how do you move those goals and strategies forward? Well, you do that with section 7. And so we've outlined very specific action steps for each of those sections, and outlined very specific actions that need to take place so that a strategy and a goal are attained. And so those actions specifically, we have then outlined a time period in which they should happen in the span of 3 to 5 years, 7 to 10, 10 plus. So not expecting you to bite off and take everything that we've put into the plan and immediately take, you know, you all as council as well as staff having to move all of that forward immediately. And so we've outlined within those action steps responsible parties, an individual or a department within Excelsior Springs that would spearhead taking that action on and moving it forward. And then it has support responsible parties as well. So not just expecting Mallory and her team to move every little piece forward. Some of it is, you know, amending your zoning code or amending certain sections of other pieces of your code. So that'll take you all workshopping with staff as well as adopting those pieces to make those actions take place. So those are just some of the pieces of how the action plan will work. And then within the end part of the document, we've also wrapped in all of our appendices. So A through D is our existing conditions, and a full engagement summary, which is fully transparent of we engaged on this date, this is the feedback we got. Everything that we received is verbatim in that engagement summary so that there's full transparency of this is where these recommendations came from. If you wanted to look back and say, how did they get to such and such recommendation in section 3? Most likely, I can say there's an area within that engagement summary and some comments or a clear consensus of comments within Appendix B that points to the recommendations coming out of sections 3 through 6. Then we did a full existing plans review, and so there's a summary write-up of each of the plans that we reviewed of your past plans to understand where Excelsior Springs came from before we started anything. And then Appendix D is that economic and market analysis that our sub-consultant Eric Lander did. So again, all of the real meat of how did we get to the recommendations is all in that Appendix A through D. So that is really kind of how we've set up the plan itself. Any questions specifically about the plan or how it's...
So in section 7 with the action plan, is it a global action plan or is it a subset of 3 through 6?
It is it's both, I guess I should say. So when you say global, as in it's all in...
So more of a high level, ambiguous, kind of a path forward versus, think of it like 7-3.
No.
Here's our action plan for place types.
Correct.
7-4. Here's our action plan for transportation.
Yes. So it is broken out by sections. I would say it's high level in the sense of we don't say...
well, it's not so rigid that it's predefined.
It's not rigid in the sense of... Here's an example. This is the goals and objectives. So goal 1 for place types is strengthen downtown as the cultural, economic, and tourism hub of Excelsior Springs. And so then there are 8 strategies that go with it. Within our action plan, I'm sorry.
Can you...
Your paper is really loud on mine.
Oh, I'm so sorry. sorry. So within the action plan, it doesn't say, you know, action 1.1, 1.3, you know, it doesn't get to that level, but yes, they are broken up of these actions specifically go with place types specifically. These actions go with section 4, and so they're numbered accordingly to that.
Yeah, that's helpful because I find if it's more of a, I'll call it an ambiguous action plan, sometimes it can
you can pin yourself down
get a little too fluid, and then you lose your endpoint objectives.
Right. Yes. So I would say yes. It's definitely broken out by the sections, but we don't get into, you know, ever like this is goal 2.1's action specifically because you'll find that some of, just by nature of how it is, and just some things will relate to others. So you may do this action and it's going to achieve a strategy in goal 4, but also in goal 1. So as long as you're marking off those actions within the section 3 of implementation, you will be attaining the goals within section 3 of the overall plan. So. Any other specific questions?
Maybe, but I don't know what you got ahead in the slide deck, so I don't necessarily want to jump around.
No, you're on to questions. So
okay, you're to questions.
Yes.
From the feedback from the focus groups that you worked with, what did you find the most surprising out of all of that? Surely not everybody was ubiquitous.
No, it was early on, but then we continued to hear it throughout. Was I think it was interesting to hear that community members are concerned or frustrated with not only the perception of Excelsior Springs within Excelsior Springs, the community, but also the outside perception, that noise that Excelsior Springs has is a very specific just perception that people think of when you say Excelsior Springs. And some of it was positive and some of it was negative. And I thought that was really interesting. Being an outsider myself, while I live just down the street from Excelsior Springs, I thought that was really interesting as some feedback of that there was just major concerns with the perception of Excelsior Springs, and how do we improve that? How do we become the place that people want to go to and don't think of just as this small town community that, is lacking exciting things or destinations to do. So I thought that was an interesting component that I wasn't expecting to get out of our conversations. So.
And I don't remember if it was you or someone else that had mentioned some of the more critical feedback came from inside.
Yes. Yes.
And those that are outside were like, "Oh gosh, we love Excelsior Springs."
Yes,
so there
exactly.
was this
because
disconnect.
That's exactly my perception.
Almost familiarity bred contention of
yes,
what people's expectations.
And that's what we did find through the survey, through some of the visioning, was yes, that the feedback or the perception of Excelsior Springs was more critical internally than it was externally. So I think there's an idea of building yourselves up and being that community and being who you are, while also, trying to strive a bit more to have a few of those destination places while still maintaining your smaller, more rural community feel, but putting yourselves on the map. I mean, as those of us that are outsiders see you for, I think is just very interesting perspective. So, any other thoughts, questions?
Do you want to walk through any of the concepts at all?
I was gonna say I can absolutely go through those with you all. Is there any particular ones you would like to see or discuss?
I think they're all interesting. I like the one by the Methodist Church. Yes, I find it to be very interesting.
I will do better, and I won't hold it over your microphone this time. I apologize.
Can we show it on?
Can you show it back here as well?
So, let's see.
I don't know, is that something in the slide deck?
It is not. I apologize. I was thinking my format was a little more fluid to walk around the room. Okay. So this one is, let me just get my bearings real quick. So this one is looking at 69 Highway, right as you come into town. So we really show this one as a gateway to the community. And so What this one does is gives a mix of office spaces as well as providing just residential. So it's a gateway zone. It also has a commercial core that is focused more towards that first initial coming in
So this
to the
is
community.
just as you go under the railroad bridge.
Yes.
Near the airport.
And then starting to
Where?
kind of phase it out a bit into
As
smaller
near
scale
Cameron.
buildings. Really looking at more of entertainment and retail towards the center location, and then down more as you get closer to town, as you get closer to the McDonald's area and location.
So is that Cameron
This is
Road?
Mosby.
It is.
Yes,
down by
this is just
Okay.
down by Mosby.
Okay.
You'll then have
between
more
the
of
highways.
a residential apartment context and feel.
Hmm.
Cool.
Keep it in front of my face for the camera.
I gotta think about this for just a second. Okay, so you're putting the apartments in the area that floods.
Let's
No,
Because
that's elevated
that's-
up.
Here's the
That's
bridge.
closer
It's
to,
elevated.
The bridge, right?
that's closer to the lumber.
That's what I was
This
gonna
is
say,
Cameron
like the
Road.
lumber side.
Right,
Yeah, it's on the
yeah,
north
yeah, but
side
even
of
down
Cameron
on-
Road.
You're going to have to do some build up. Never mind. I know where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be some topography to navigate for sure. Again, like we said, this is very high level conceptual. We know that there would need to be more design and pieces that go into it and play into it, but for sure, just kind of really providing you this gateway zone as you come in from Mosby along 69, allowing for opportunities of not only residential, but also really giving you that office space and commercial as well in that area.
So do you have conceptual plans for each of the areas?
Yes.
that-
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Mallory
We've
is
got about 5 of them.
going to get the documents will be pulled up.
I'm fond
apologize.
of the airport.
Yes.
That
So
was the
this-
hospital. The
This
Methodist
is
church.
the intergenerational area. So this is along, let's see, what we're
69.
calling 69 and
69
Rainbow
and
area.
Rainbow.
So the church is right here, as well as then you have Excelsior Springs Hospital. So really trying to mix in the hospital use. This area really would focus on smaller, more restaurant, cafe types, spa and wellness, as well as then looking at and bringing in, the different age types housing. So aging in place, but also then having some smaller footprint, more starter home type uses in this area. So as we talked through this one, Melinda and Mallory and I really talked about that this was a prime location, as well as that the church as well is looking to start to look at how they can coordinate or develop the land just behind their location. I know there was a lot of then discussion as well as the hospital starts any renovations that they may have or any future development, what does that look like? So really focusing in on this area, and again, creating a more healthy lifestyle type of area that allows a lot of walking and biking trails in this area as well. So that's that one. So again, as you'll see here, as I was pointing out on the other one, again, just so you can orient yourself, there in the top right corner is the hospital. This is the First United Methodist area. Really looking at, villa type uses, potentially, again, very conceptual, so that we're not saying this is exactly where villas have to go. But then looking at, neighborhood park, winding those trails throughout, having clubhouse amenities, things like that, so that you can really start to have an area in which individuals can, like I said, age in place, but also younger families can live as well, and have the access and appropriateness to the hospital as well as other amenities within that development. So that is one. Then we can go on to, I guess since you're scrolling now. So this one we call the Soda Row retail development. So this is again looking at what we originally coined the Tracy Triangle. So you're again just down from the hospital area. You're looking at 69 and Tracy Avenue. And so this really starts to focus on having a bigger box or some sort of anchor tenant. It doesn't have to be a big box retailer, it could be smaller scale. But providing in that area, it's a bit of a desert for retail or commercial uses. So really providing some neighborhood scale retail, commercial, restaurant in that area. Again, still incorporating the fire department that's there, as well as then just looking at more out pad sites for those commercial areas. And again, in the hopes of this one is to really feed the surrounding neighborhoods in those areas as well, to provide just, again, those neighborhood services and goods and services that are needed or lacking as well. And then the next one, if you scroll down, this one was just kind of a one-off that we thought of as we were walking around downtown. You have a great downtown, it's already very active, but it was just looking out right here on your lawn and really activating that space. So I know you all already use it occasionally for you know, festivals or gatherings of some sort, but starting to activate it a little bit more. And so calling it the Wall of Waters at the Hall of Waters. You know, we really loved the topography of it, and so maybe incorporating some sort of splash pad in the lower part as water falls over from Broadway, recirculating of some sort. Again, all ideas, but really just activating this area so that you have a festival lawn, but then you could imagine kids maybe on a hot day just playing out there too, as families are sitting around listening to some music, whatever the case may be. So this one was just not really specific in terms of economic development, you know, revenue generation in terms of retail or, you know, providing housing or anything like that, but just giving you that destination space, potentially, and building off of the amazing character that your downtown already has. So that was just a kind of a fun one-off that we threw in there. Then we've got the downtown market area. So we understand that you already have some plans along, let's see, so Excelsior Road, looking at Main Street to the north. And so really starting to just move that idea forward more with an outdoor farmers market, but also then creating and repurposing the lower
the old Marshall's laundry side.
Dry Fork area.
Yeah, it's just
yes.
South of Dry Fork.
Yes.
Okay.
Activating that space to repurpose that as more of an indoor market, so you could have a year-round market space, but then also then just looking at it as we know that this is floodplain area, you know, so being cognizant of that and how do you activate that space, having it more as just an outdoor lawn, you know, space again that you could either hold festivals on or just, you know, bring that market out into a bit more on those nice summer days, things like that. So that and also maybe providing food truck areas, whatever you think that space could use and need. Whatever, as things evolve and take place, you could have that space to bring in more exciting, just pop-up type entertainment as needed. So, Then this one is downtown, looking at, so you have Marietta Street. This is where you start to turn to come into to downtown, so Thompson Avenue. Again, understanding that some of this area is floodplain area, so really trying to make sure that we're taking care of that. But this was also looking at trying to, how do we add with your topography of the hill with where your residential is currently, bringing in some more residential, smaller scale homes, if they're garden apartments or patio homes, whatever that case may be, putting some of those in that area, having sort of an activated outdoor, you know, retail or market space as well, just for a little bit of gathering. But we also talked about just activating the space and working with the slope and creating stairs. So you are able to provide that connectivity that we continue to hear about, as how do people navigate from the higher topography down to more of that bowl area of downtown area. So really kind of looking at those pieces, as well as then again incorporating in a bit more residential, and also bringing in some smaller scale commercial in this area, just to bring the activation of downtown over more to the east as well, or sorry, the west. So, and then this is the one you're looking for, so that adventure resort. So really looking at how do you repurpose the airstrip, and so it truly is more of this grand, you know, concourse way into all of the entertainment and excitement. So again, building on the mountain bike experience that is already at play and in progress, in discussion. And so how do you start to build upon that? And so while we understand you already have the elms, so not to take away from them, but maybe this is an area that could then also have a small resort if needed, small hotel there to the north, or incorporated into it just so that it can, you know, really have that destination feel and have individuals staying. Starting to look at, again, is it go-karts, is it a pump track, skate park, what other uses, outdoor recreational fun can you have? Maybe kids are too small to be adventurous and take on the full mountain biking experience, but maybe there's a smaller pump track that they can participate in as well. Really looking at, you know, the potential of bringing in restroom, concession stand, those types of market pieces at the end, using the whole concourse strip as your parking area so that you're not taking over the green space that is already there. So using that already paved area for parking. Again, this could be any type of destination play, pickleball, racquetball, whatever the case may be. Also starting to play on, you know, some of your topography on this side as well. Maybe adding in some zip line adventure.
All the way into downtown.
I mean, you could. So again, these are very high level and, you know, experiential type of ideas. But it's something that we really foresee, you know, one hits that bucket of what we're hearing from the community in terms of how do you make Excelsior Springs a destination? How do you bring people in that don't live here, let alone how do you get people to stay within Excelsior Springs that are, you know, going to Liberty for a movie, or going to Liberty to the, what is it, the River Roll, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, how do you get them to stay here on a Friday night? And so this was one of those ideas of just really providing an experiential destination for recreation. So, I think that was all of them, yes.
So, question on each of the concepts.
Yes.
And you know, I get it. It's fluid and there's nothing that's concrete at this point. But is there also a feel of what is targeted to an investor versus what becomes something that city government initiates. I mean,
Right.
some of them are obvious, but what do you see other communities, like how do you get that ball rolling? Is it investors first that would bite off on portions of this, or is it the city starts the wheel turning on a particular area?
So I think it's a little bit of both, and I would lend to
Melinda's behind you.
Melinda left me. No, she's right there. I know in some of these sites, there's already some conversations being had, and so this really just helps keep that ball rolling. In some of the other, areas, I think it truly is, you start to use this plan as a promotional, a marketing material in some ways through chamber activities, through your own, as developers come in. It's more targeted to those individuals specifically. So
I think the difference is when you look at all 6 of these concepts, only in one of these concepts are we maybe a majority property owner. These are all private investment property opportunities for current ownership or investors who want to come in and develop those.
Yeah, and where I was going with that is in the area where we are the property owner, incentives for an investor to come in versus us outlaying capital to do something like that, I think would be an attractive option.
And I think in this design here, coming from the world of soccer for many, many, many years, I think there's a desire to have someplace that can host tournaments, but 3 fields is not going to be enough to really support that. You would have to have probably at least 2 to 3 more to make that work.
The golf course is not going to be willing to give up their driving range.
No.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned that. So in this specific, and it could go another direction, and it could end up becoming something larger for that tournament base. While there are a lot of communities, and that's something that we talked about through conversations was, is the desire more to have and host tournaments, or have more of this more community scale rec soccer that can take place, or is it we're hosting large tournaments and drawing individuals in? And so the thought here was not to be hosting large tournaments. I mean, you may be able to do some smaller, 1 day kind of tournament on those 3 fields, but it's not going to be, an all day bringing in thousands for the weekend type of experience. So I do those on the weekend, and those are very exciting, let me tell you, but they're also very overwhelming all at the same time, too.
Very time consuming, too.
And time consuming.
Takes a lot of resources, too.
4 big locations over there in Olathe and all that.
And there
I've
is.
gone
So, I
many
mean, there
times.
definitely would need to be, a feasibility study should one of those be the desire for Excelsior Springs, just because I would like to say the market's saturated, but I don't think so, because we still, as a baseball team, struggle to find places to practice and do. So there are opportunities for sure out there for them, and there's always locations of people wanting to not have to drive to Olathe to spend their entire day at the ball fields. So
Volleyball is the other big draw
Yeah.
that people will travel.
Yes.
What was that?
Volleyball.
Volleyball, yeah.
Yeah, both boys and girls volleyball.
Yes.
How wide is that airstrip?
Indoor.
I'm sorry?
How wide is that airstrip?
How wide is it?
Yeah.
Well, that is a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know without looking.
I don't know off the top of my head exactly how wide it is. But.
So, would you say the greatest probability of success for any of these would be treat it ad hoc of, we have an investor, we have this going over, or do we do more of a rifle approach of, let's do a top-down priority, we want to focus our attention in this area or this area? What do you see either other communities doing or having the greatest success? I'll call it the shotgun approach or the rifle approach.
Sure. I would say, I think you're going to want to probably go with the latter. You're going to want to identify what are the, there's some big ideas here, but then truly what are the priorities of the big ideas? And I think that can come from, does this become more of a priority when, the airport is no longer there, and then you have a vacant property, and you don't want to have that vacancy sitting there. So I think looking at, it's an exercise on your all's end as well as with staff of what are those areas, and how soon are they available, or how soon could they become an eyesore and a vacant property for you that needs to be focused on.
Understood.
So
I would make the comment that the space between here and Mosby is also a community trust related concern. Like, if we don't do something there, have we now created our own kind of
Yeah, and it's also
blowback, further blowback?
I mean, I know we have many entrances, but it's the front door to our community.
That's right.
It's what you see when you first
That's right.
come through.
I will say I got a text message that the width of the runway is 47 feet.
47, okay.
Thank you.
Instant gratification.
Yes.
Well, okay, now, all right, we can get an 8th Mile drag strip in there. Okay, right, good.
Thank you to the listener. Phone a friend.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I think there's a lot of seeding that would have to go on, even if you did the shotgun approach or the rifle approach, using that analogy. There's a lot of seeding of the other things that would have to happen.
Yeah. And not to ignore them. If they start to happen, we have a plan in place for them.
Right.
But I think the focus is good too, so that we don't have diminishing returns of, we're spinning our wheels, but we're not seeing a lot of achievables.
And I would say, I agree with that, and how we've even written some of the implementation of that is that you want to look at these as a whole master plan development, and so you may want to go out to bid an RFP, or find and seek a developer specifically to look at the entire area, because just as we look at zoning in some ways, or land uses is, not spot zoning, you want to start to kind of, that's why you have a comprehensive plan in many ways, is so that you have a plan in place and you're not just, oh, let's put this use over here and let's put this one, you have a method to the madness in many ways. So I think, if you start trying to build these out as, oh, let's put some fields here and then we'll come back to it, I think, you'll get more of a hodgepodge of that destination. Whereas of course it may make sense to phase it, absolutely, but getting that full master plan in place is going to be very beneficial to make sure that it just all comes to fruition as well.
Because in the final analysis, more than likely 20 years from now, everything that's here won't look like that.
Correct.
There'll be some of it won't. Some of it will be different on the same plot. And I think we need to be open to that too, because if somebody wants to come in and make that investment, but they don't want to do, I don't want to do it that way, I think we've got to be flexible and realize that that it could go a different direction.
Yes. And we've noted that in the plan, especially within this section 6, is that these truly are conceptual. That's why we use the word conceptual or even ideas. It's to get, I talk about them and I'm excited about them for you all. I hope that everyone else has that much excitement of just even being able to bring someone in to start taking this dream and this idea and really massaging it more to what it could and can be, based on the market, based on the feasibility, just in terms of topography and engineering. We understand there's a lot more that goes into all of these pieces than just taking this napkin approach, if you will, and saying, build it. So we understand there's more that goes into it, but it does start those juices flowing. It gives Mallory and Melinda a starting point of, you know, there's some buy-in on this, and we want to take this and let's see where it can go. So
If you look at the 2009, which I think is the last comp plan, when we reviewed it, a significant amount of that plan had been achieved, and not all of it looked as it had been imagined, and that's fine. You know, and then there were significant parts that had not been achieved yet, so it was a good time to update and start again.
Yeah.
Just 09 to 2025 is pretty large span. Things are different.
Sure.
Well, and on the whole, this seems very a large task, but I'm also looking at this too, that, you know, I like to say nothing draws a crowd like a crowd. So once this momentum starts, then I view these as this then will define our plan for how that momentum progresses.
Right. Do you remember when Shelby asked us to dream big?
Yep.
And that was one of the early exercises. So we wouldn't limit ourselves from what might be a possibility.
Sure. Right. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go back to that, you know, the visioning, you know, exercise of dreaming big, there were so many things on those sheets. And what we do in our process is, you know, we kind of talked about that funnel, and so we start getting all of the ideas, but then as we do more engagement, as well as we have the expertise of you all as council, and then our stakeholder group and technical committee, as well as the Olson team as planners and experts within the industry, we take all of that and start to dwindle those ideas down. And so, yes, we still have big ideas, and we're dreaming up what that could be, but we've dwindled it down. Because I mean, I think one of the ideas might have been something about, I don't know, I think there was like, you know, a major league stadium as well as some sort of gateway, you know, prominent gateway. You know, we were dreaming. You know, I've had other communities who said they wanted a zoo winery. I can't say that I've ever actually ended up putting a zoo winery in.
A zoo winery?
Yes.
They must have went to Jazoo.
You know, so we dream big, but then we start to bring those pieces down. And you know, I would say that this is the most adventurous in sorts of what it could be, and some of the other ones that we went through, you know, with the housing and the intergenerational, you know, living areas, some of those may seem a little more palatable, but this one as well. I mean, I think very much because you have that mountain bike experience already. Taking shape, starting.
Yeah,
you've got some of the big anchor components. So
yeah, the other advantage to this is we own it, so we control the destiny.
Yeah.
The other ones we don't.
Right. So. So yeah, that would be section 6. So when you dive into the plan, there will be these graphics. I would say the other sections are a little more, you know, framework based. They specifically look at the goals of how do you grow, how do you move people about your community. Again, how do you do that in vehicle, but also by walking and biking as well. So that's where those other ones really focus in.
But Shelby, it seems like our initial challenge is, as silly as it sounds, is to have the people that live here understand what we have.
Yeah.
That seems to be our biggest hurdle.
Yeah, we need the buy-in from the whole community to understand and value community
Right.
and want to give more and put more into it.
Right.
That's what I've seen just in my
Mhm.
time here too. There's a core group of people that want that so badly and are doing all of the work.
Right.
We have thousands and thousands of more people that we need to buy in
Yes.
to the
Mhm.
vision, and so it's putting it out there. A lot of times it's, they don't know that this could exist. And
I
so
think it's that
we
they
need to
don't
tell
know,
them.
but they also misunderstand.
Sure,
Well, that
yeah.
could be-
Just the whole Facebook conversation around the Christmas lights is they misunderstand what it is, who does what,
Right.
where it gets
Right.
funded, and
Right.
all of that.
Right,
kind
and
of
so
stuff.
we have to tell our story,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
the
Yep.
way that we know it to be, so that others can, no one's ever gonna fully understand, because people
No, I
don't
think
want
that's
to,
very
but-
valid, because so I spent my career traveling the country,
Mhm.
and, you know, you would have, or see things, or, you know, developments or whatever, and it's like, oh, we have that, we have it. And so I think it is that, you know, we have generational families here that have been here their entire life, that sometimes you just take it for granted,
Yeah.
and
You stop seeing.
you stop seeing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it. I mean, my favorite was, we were in Florence, Italy, and my wife looked out over the vineyards and said, you know, this looks just like one of our local vineyards. I mean, there are things like that we have that I just think maybe it's on us to help elevate the level of recognition.
I think it's connecting, like the one of downtown where you were talking about trying to build the top, bring the top down to the to downtown. How do you connect them? Because right now we are pockets.
A bit
Right?
disjointed.
We
Yes. Yeah.
have artificial walls that, you know, just because of the lack of sidewalks and
Yeah.
those kinds of things, people just don't go and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was established in some ways just because of the challenges. I mean, that was one of the first things also in our visioning is, you know, what are your barriers and challenges, and it's your topography. I mean, it can disjoint you in some ways, but it's then also being innovative and creative of how do you then navigate that challenge, and how do you, is it, you know, you build in a meandering trail sidewalk that does allow you to connect those who are, you know, in that residential area down to the downtown. That way they can take a walk downtown to the farmer's market, rather than having to get in their car, look for parking, which then is always the discouraging thing. Even if there is parking, you still hear there's not enough. So it's navigating those challenges, and giving those options, and then letting people know that those options are there, and how do they use them. So I would say, you know, that's something, to Mallory's point, is letting people know, you know, as these things go in, and as, you know, a program is available, or as a new restaurant is available, it's promoting that, and getting people to actually come out and see it and use it, and then spread the word. So there's that piece too. But
The line at Abelardo's every time I go home says that this community can do that. Because
It's almost dangerous.
I know.
any other questions? Happy to talk your ear off all night long, but I also
This
know
is
you
very
all
good.
probably
Thank
have
you.
other things.
Appreciate all
And I
the.
just want to make sure the planning commissioners, if you guys have any
Yes.
questions, you know, this is your meeting too, so feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, so I will say from my perspective, I'm excited. Came in the middle of this, so it's kind of a weird time to come into the comp plan. So I am excited to wrap it up, go for adoption, and then start implementation.
So what are the next steps?
The next steps are Planning and Zoning Commission will adopt this
Yep.
at their next
Lots of
You know
reading.
which-
Next step's lots of reading.
So yes, I am finalizing, so I want to make sure, I come in here, make sure that everyone is on the same page, that we are not, hopefully, not saying, oh, this all is terrible, and toss it out, and let's restart. But if there are things that you saw this evening, or have further questions that you want clarified, please let me know, and we can go from there. But then, yes, the next step would be, if we didn't have any major red flags coming out of this evening, then I have the final full document. While staff has looked at everything in the form that you just saw it in that Word doc, I'm putting all of that and nearing completion of putting that all in the pretty packaged PDF.
Understand it's not finalized, but is there a way that we can get access to this?
Yes.
What we just saw tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really large.
It is.
I saw it was 80 pages.
I had
but-
to reduce the file size down even just to be able to email it internally. So I can do it, just fair warning, it's large.
Or I
Or is
can
it
drop
something
in
we
a-
could upload to?
I can drop it in a shared file if you want and send the shared file to you and everyone can then.
We should
That
be
might
able
be
to
easier.
put it
I
in
can
our
PDF
civic,
it,
right?
just that way there's no.
Yeah. What?
Should be able to put it in our civic.
I'm not sure it'll upload to Civic.
Okay.
If you compressed it as
Yeah,
a
I
PDF?
compressed it. It's still pretty large,
It's
and
because
the file
our
size
big,
then is not
our
great.
maps on our
okay.
Yeah,
drawings are in
those
there,
renderings and everything make it really.
Yeah, I can PDF it and create it as one full document and put it in a share link, a file link, and I can send it
Okay,
to you, and
and
you
then
can
I'll
send
share
it
it.
out to
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah.
And so that'll allow you to access it, download it, and take a look at the full.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
helpful
Thing.
for
Yeah,
discussions.
absolutely.
What's
Thoughts.
the communication plan after we adopt it? What's the communication what does that look like typically?
So, I mean, we'll do a press release that we've adopted it. And while this document, yes, is a public document, most of the general public isn't reading this document.
You know.
This document is typically used when development comes in, when we're looking at what are our goals as a governing body and staff, what are our goals through the implementation process. So while we'll say that we've adopted it, I'm not sure that we're not like
So
holding
the
party or
planning
asking
commission
people to
will
read it.
actively use it.
The plan, you will use it, so in all of
Yes.
your decisions that you make, it will, just like how it is now, we will evaluate each staff recommendation based on what's in the comp plan. But this isn't a document that just the average person, maybe
But
they
what
are.
about like the groups of stakeholders that you visited with?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would think there would be an interest level there. I agree.
Yeah.
I get what
Yes,
you're
yeah.
saying.
So I
No
will
one's going to
once-
read through the 80 plus
Right.
pages.
Right.
But I think you
But-
will focus a little bit on the action implementation
Sure.
plan.
And it'll all be on our website, just like our current comprehensive
Okay.
plan is, yeah,
Yeah, and I
Hopefully that'll
will.
be useful.
yeah.
When
I will, once it's adopted, anyone who has either signed up through the website that has requested to be continually updated on progress of the process, as well as our stakeholder group and technical committee, all of them will receive a official, it's been adopted, thank you for your time and, input, as well as here's where you can find it and locate it, and it'll be the location for the time being. It would be on the project website until then it gets put on your website, but there would be a formal communication that goes out to everyone that's been involved that it's been adopted, and they can have access to it as well.
And would it be feasible to have like a investor packet? So Melinda, someone approaches you, instead of just saying, well, go to the website and look at, we could have something that's, yeah, we've already thought about this and here's a concept.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Okay.
That's a
Because
good
this already
idea.
ties in with your pre-designed building to some extent.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Melinda, do you want to share about our committees that we're putting together?
So our economic vitality committees with Thrive are already working on some recruitment. They have 3 different recruitment teams they're developing. One is retail, one is industrial, and one is hotel. So there will be a group of individuals through economic vitality at Thrive that will be working on that.
Excellent.
Very good.
And I should say, I know you saw that the one document was 80 pages. I will say, generally, I am not finalized with it, but so generally sections 1 through 6, 1 through 7 are usually hovering about 100 pages or so for the plan document, and the overall full document, if you add in the appendices, that's when it starts to get really lengthy and it's like 300 pages. But the overall plan document itself, I don't want you to be too afraid that we try as best as we can to make sure that it's concise and user friendly in the sense of that it's not 300 pages that you have to.
So how I've done it in the
sift
past is
through.
like the main document is the main document on the website, and then you can click on the
Yeah.
appendices
Right.
if you're interested. Because most people aren't there,
Right.
don't
We're gonna
even
say-
know about the existing condition.
Are you saying,
Right.
can we get to all 300 pages eventually?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
absolutely.
It'll all be
It'll
out
all be
on our
available.
website.
I just
Yeah.
want you to know that
Yeah.
you all as planning commission and council, you know, it's not. I've opened up some comprehensive plans that without the appendices are 300 pages, but that's partially because some of the style, depending on who does the plan, is to put a lot of what A through D are in the actual plan document themselves, and we want to make sure that the true meat of the plan, which is the recommendations and how you should be evaluating a development application, is first and forefront for you, because to do that you don't need to know your existing conditions or what the engagement summary necessarily says. So we put all of that as that secondary piece. So
I actually don't know really who attends the chamber luncheons, but would that be an appropriate and effective place to make a brief presentation once this is finalized to get the word out more?
yeah, I mean, I don't want to volunteer anyone for that. But.
Actually, the city is the sponsor in January of the luncheon, so it's the appropriate time for us to be talking about it and rolling.
Can't
it
wait
out.
to make that presentation.
Sorry, just I confirmed that last week and hadn't told
Okay,
anybody.
okay. Yeah, we'd love to do that.
So yes.
And you talked earlier about the image issue, that it outside looks more favorably than inside.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's because the inside people see it every day and don't appreciate it?
It could
Or
be.
is it older people that have lived here longer that have this negative?
It very well could be that. I mean, I will say, as like I said, I live just down the highway, and I couldn't. To your point earlier, I was gonna say, I mean, I couldn't wait to get out of Kansas City. I was never gonna come back, and I didn't want to live here. And then I moved away from college, came back, and I was like, Kansas City's actually got some really great aspects, you know. So I think when you live amongst a community for long enough, that your view gets a little jaded. I think some of it too was just the other piece that went with that is just transparency concerns in terms of residents with government and how they see that transparency of how the city is approaching things, as well as the lack of, we heard a good amount of the lack of engagement or excitement to get involved. And so I think those things, those factors, it's a tough time right now. I mean, a lot of communities are feeling planned to death. There's also the transparency or trust concerns. So I think a lot of that can start to play into that perception of where you live. And are they doing what's best? Do they really have every individual resident's best interest at heart when they're making decisions? So I think some of those things can play into that. I'm not saying, since I'm on the record, I'm not saying that's exactly what was the case, but in some of the comments and things that were shared, I think that is some of what lends to that perception issue and concern. So there are those factors to maybe consider that as working through moving forward, is how do you improve those pieces in the lines of communication or transparency, and maybe some of that perception changes as well.
Well, and I just want to add on to that we're aware of that as well, and we have some separate from this, just plans already to try to have some things on our website that are interactive or maps that people can view, things like that are easier, because a lot of the information we have on our website, you have to click 7 times, or it's buried under this web page. But just having, so we are being transparent. It's just not easy to find what you're looking for. So if we can take some steps to make that easier for people to see, you know, that can be one way we can address that issue, and we are already working on some of those.
And maybe it's always been there, but people just don't know where it's at,
Right.
so they feel like you're trying to hide something. When
Right. I think you couple that with the fact that a lot of people focus on the little things. The little things become big things.
Yeah.
The sidewalks, the Christmas lights, whatever. I mean, you know, it goes back to kind of what
Who would
Rudy
have thought
Giuliani
that
did
would have
with the
been
New York,
controversial?
with New York around. Let's go fix all the broken windows. Let's go do all this. And I'm not saying Excelsior's like that, but you know, I think people who have lived here longer have seen that and may not be. They don't have that forward thinking with where we're at today, and so they ruminate on those things that got us where we are, and they can't see past to go forward.
They formed their opinion years ago, and it's very difficult
That's
to
right.
change
Yeah.
it.
Right.
As a lifelong resident and being involved with the hospitality with the trolley and all that, I see three different groups of people in town all the time. The lifelong residents that have been here a long time, they appreciate the positive change. They see it. Our downtown landscape, they appreciate it. But the more recent things, I think it's when we do something like a comp plan and we share the vision and we share one of those pictures, they think it's going to happen, and it's going to happen right now.
Yeah.
And so you know, I think of the two things, the movie theater, hotel, other things that people were sure it's coming, and then it never came. And then you hear those comments on Facebook all the time, to the point that when we were getting the Quick Trip, they were like, oh, that's another movie theater thing, it'll never happen. You know, up to the point, dirt, you know, they broke soil. So I see that as that's one of our main issues is if we get excited and share a vision, but we yet to have investors, developers, and it may or may not ever happen. It's like a shot in the side of the ship, and it starts to sink in their mind, their attitude towards Excelsior Springs. And then with new residents, when I ran for council, going door to door over there are so many people that have lived here 10 years or less. They love the city. They love everything about Excelsior. And but the ones that's lived here 10 years or longer than 10 years, they seem to have that attitude. And the whole of Excelsior Springs has no idea, hospitality-wise, how many tourists are in this town every week. Not just weekends, they're here during the week too. And they just have no idea, and they don't appreciate that side of it. That tourist-wise, Excelsior Springs has become a destination over other locations in Clay County.
I will also add to that until you review a plan that was written in the past and see how many things you accomplish, you forget that you've made progress. And I think that's true for myself, that you stop thinking about the distance you've moved or traveled and progress made until you actually go back and look.
Sounds like a Molly blog to me.
And I'll pick up on your point. So I have tried to make, and I have to constantly remind myself of this, I've tried to make a conscious decision that I can expend my time and effort trying to change people and their perceptions, or we can work our plan. And I think the latter is
right.
what, you know, let's adopt a plan. We've gotten the inputs. Now let's start working our plan. I don't care if you're hanging Christmas lights or doing what. You're going to have naysayers.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
That's right.
But I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on let's work our plan. And
Yeah.
That's right.
Agreed.
well, thank you so much.
Thank you
I
for
know a
having
lot
me.
of work went into this, so
Yeah,
much
it's been good.
appreciated.
So I'm sure I'll see you all here soon.
When is the planning and zoning meeting
I don't think
that
we're
this
meeting
is.
until January.
We're not meeting until January, and I don't know that we'll be ready for January.
Yeah,
Either
we're
January or
shooting for
February.
Okay.
it, but yeah,
Yeah.
it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably between now and then February, we can read it.
That's right, yes.
Would you just
yes.
let us
Oh, 300
know then
pages.
when?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we'll have that full document here, like I said, ready to send off. I'm gonna let Mallory and Melinda and Molly see it first, and then at their will, they'll send me some edits, I'm sure, and then we'll send it out to the full group here to do a
It's
look over
exciting.
before we will ask you to adopt it, so.
Now, what kind of format will it come in? Will it look like what we're seeing here?
No,
Or
it'll be a PDF. It'll be the full,
Okay.
well, the final document, the one that I'm gonna give you the share file link on now, just so you can start your initial read of it, will be a PDF as well, but it won't be formatted.
Okay, but it's not gonna be like an AIA document
No.
format where I need to look at division, blah, 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 to see this, that, or the other thing.
No.
So, okay.
No, it reads like a book, and eventually we will get some printed.
Okay,
Yes. Yep.
all right,
Yep.
cool.
No.
Thank you.
No AI or meta overview of it. It will be a full PDF document of it. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And again, apologies for the delay when I was getting here.
No apology necessary. Could have brought your. Is your little one here?
Yeah, they're downstairs.
Could have brought him up.
Yeah,
Hang on.
we had scheduling snags last.